Right now, hundreds of migrants arrived in the Chicagoland area overnight and this morning. Many arrived by bus or plane, almost all of them on very short notice. CBS 2's Darius Johnson has the story from the landing zone, where many are still awaiting shelter.
Throughout the day, hundreds have arrived here at the landing zone. You could see many of them are waiting on CTA buses that are also serving as warming shelters, as nearly 300 await placement. Hundreds of migrants arrive on New Year's Eve in the middle of a Chicago winter with no coats, some just flip-flops, and nowhere to go.
Last night and several nights before, a number of buses continue to arrive in the city of Chicago and throughout the country without any coordination.
Mayor Brandon Johnson on Face the Nation Sunday morning, just after 350 migrants arrived on a plane to Rockford. He blames Texas Governor Greg Abbott for the unplanned arrivals.
And now he's taken on this very dangerous task of placing individuals on airplanes and flying them into our various cities.
Just after 1 this morning, 350 migrants from San Antonio arrived at the Rockford Airport. One of those on the ground coordinating efforts, Winnebago County Sheriff Gary Caruana, who says they got a heads up Saturday afternoon.
It did give us time to prepare, and we did prepare a plan. What the problem was they said they were going to get here around 9:30, and actually it was later. It was like 1:30 in the morning.
Once migrants arrived in Rockford, they boarded 8 buses for Chicago, all chartered by Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
We actually asked them from Winnebago County on I-90 through Boone County and then on into McHenry County, and that's where we dropped off and felt that they were safe, and then they moved on to allegedly Chicago.
The city of Chicago says it had no knowledge of the arrival until it received a heads up from officials in Rockford. Overall, nearly 600 migrants are awaiting placement in the city, and nearly 300 are at the landing zone trying to stay warm on a cold New Year's Eve. Sheriff Caruana says better communication is required from those sending migrants to prevent these situations.
This is something that can be coordinated with the leaders of Winnebago County and the leaders in Chicago and make sure that it goes very, very smooth. I feel it did go smooth, but I want to have a pre-plan if this happens again.
Buffalo Grove and Oak Lawn are 2 suburbs that are currently working to put ordinances in place to prevent unscheduled arrivals of migrants. Buffalo Grove has a meeting scheduled for Tuesday. Oak Lawn has one set for next week. Reporting in downtown Chicago, I'm Darius Johnson, CBS 2 News.
Darius kind of touched on this. Buffalo Grove and Oak Lawn have upcoming meetings on the matter. McHenry, Hillside, South Barrington, and Rosemont have all passed similar ordinances to Chicago threatening fines without proper notification. Also, as we saw in Darius's piece, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson pleading for help from the federal government. This morning, as you saw on Face the Nation, the mayor expressed frustration.
Comprehensive immigration reform would certainly transform this situation. In fact, it solves this crisis. What we have said repeatedly is that we need Congress to act to provide the resources that are needed in order to carry out this mission.
Last week, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken met with the president of Mexico and his cabinet to discuss the spike in migrants crossing the Mexican border.